Right, this is the video for our defensive operators or defenders, whatever you want to call it. We're going to rank them, discuss them. UK Jedi is here again.
As always.
Old Nick, not the devil, but just Nick. He's not that old.
Saint Nick, Saint Nick, if you don't mind.
Saint Nick. You know. Oh, it is Christmas time, yeah. So Saint
exactly.
Nick is, absolutely, fair play. Okay, Saint Nick. We'll stick with that. Yeah, we're going to go through. Last time we probably did focus maybe a bit too much on our personal opinions. Our personal opinions still matter. We'll also go through and we're just discussing terrorist hunts. So, you know, if people want opinions on things for multiplayer, yeah, they do. These things do count, but obviously we will discuss the differences that come up between them. It's just an unscripted thing. It's just a chat, and I think we should just jump into it and just and go with it. So our first defender we're going to discuss in part 1 is Smoke. I like Smoke. I like his gadget. The FMG9 is not the best gun in the game. It's okay.
Better than his shotgun though, just because I don't get on with shotguns.
Yeah, to be fair, like anyone listening, Nick and I don't like shotguns. So we're quite biased against shotguns. I can't stand using shotguns personally. And I know you don't. So yeah, we're quite biased regards to that. It is better than the shotgun. None of my operators, and I'm pretty sure none of yours, are armed with their shotgun.
Nope.
But Smoke's good. He's, you know, I've got him set up with the barbed wire because that's always a handy gadget, especially the way we play. But I do use his FMG9, and I tend, because I'm using that, I tend to actually go with the P226. I like his gadget. I think it can slow the terrorists down. It's an okay gadget. I would prefer it. There's rumours that he may be, well, I know he got buffed a bit. There are rumours of another buff. I hope so. I think it could be a bit more powerful, the Smoke, perhaps. I think he's
a bit of a secondary, really.
Yeah, it's. I wish his Smoke literally killed anyone that entered it. Effectively,
yeah.
That would be nice. And then you really could use it as a people cannot go there. I know, obviously, it does slowly kill people. Obviously, on terrorist hunt, I don't think it affects the bombers at all.
No.
So, but I do like him. I don't know why. I can't explain it. I like his look as well. Not that that really matters, but I like him, and I think overall he is useful. You can use him. I'd probably give him my average score for an operator that I like is always going to be a 6 or a 7. That means that I use them, I like them, they're useful, they're not crap and pointless. So I'll probably give him somewhere between a 6 and a 7 for me.
Yeah, I'd probably go with a 5, just because I don't use him that often. As I say, he's a kind of secondary for me. I don't use him that much. His gadget is okay, but I just think there are others that are a lot more useful.
Yeah,
for me, it's a 5. It's an average 5.
Fair enough. Okay, so Mute. Now, recently,
Mute.
He has
Fantastic.
become one of your go-tos, or if not your main go-to. I used to use him on and off quite a lot, but you use him really well, so I tend to sit back and let you use him. Okay, I might not use him very often, but his usefulness is just ridiculous. You know, it's, well, you explain probably better than me because you use him all the time.
Well, no, it's obvious, isn't it? You can stop them blowing up the walls, so you can make sure that they're coming only from one direction. You know, corral them through the doors if you can get enough of them down in the right locations to stop them blowing up any walls. It's just that handy. Again, don't like his shotgun. purely because I don't like shotguns on this game. MP5 all the way. And then, yeah, I mean, I tend to go with the 226 instead of the SMG11. But again, that's personal preference. I quite like the SMG11. I use that with Sledge. So, you know, but just personal preference on defence. The 226 is better. I wish he had barbed wire or something instead of that stupid camera, because I can't stand that camera. But otherwise he's a top one for me, and I would probably go for him. I would probably give him, you know, an 8 or a 9, purely based on the fact that he should have barbed wire instead of that useless camera.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's almost obviously he could have better weapons, you know, but his gadget is so important. He just cannot be, you know, if you're going to do realistic and stuff.
His gadget's important, but the MP5 for me is a decent enough weapon, you know. It's not good if you go to the body, but if you're doing headshots, it's fine. You know,
yes, absolutely.
There's no problem with it whatsoever.
Well, I'll give him a 9 for his usefulness. To be fair, I think he's right up there with one of the most important.
Yeah.
Okay, on to Castle. We both used to use Castle. I think I've always been a UMP 45. I don't mind the gun. I personally think that he has become almost kind of a bit useless. I don't think the gadget. It just, on Terrorist Hunt now, where they've updated the AI and stuff like that, there's the shieldies have always got decent explosives, thermite explosive. They just don't last 2 minutes. Those things. I
think Castle for me is an operator for lower levels. If you're doing it on the low levels, he's good. You can block up stuff. They won't blow it up. You can begin to corral, you know, people in certain directions and so on, because that's how they are. The second you go on to, or definitely realistic and sometimes even on hard, his gadget becomes almost useless because they'll just blow it up. So,
I agree. I think
it's purely a delaying tactic. His gadget then, because you stick it on a window, they'll blow it up. All right, they can't shoot through it, and they can't necessarily do it as quick as they would if you just normally barricaded the window, but they're going to do it. So it's just a delaying tactic once you get off the low level.
Yeah, that's good analysis. I concur with that, and I'll probably for that give him a 4 or a 5.
Yeah, you see, because we don't really use him, I'd probably go for a 4, to be perfectly honest with you, because he's got that god awful camera again.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, I think a 4 is about fair. Okay, Pulse. Obviously, we all know about God. Pulse in the first year of this game was the most overpowered defender in the game by probably a million miles. He
One-man army.
He was a one-man army, and in fact the shotgun actually could work with him, because you could just shoot people through walls, and that was the best gun to use. And I did actually use the shotgun with him quite a bit. Since the range of his gadget has been shortened, he's still useful, but I don't necessarily find that I need to use him as much as I did. I still use him, but for
he's
me,
a bit like Smoke for me.
Yeah, he's useful. Yeah, he's definitely useful in certain scenarios, but I don't feel that he's one that you must take a pulse kind of thing anymore.
No, not like Mute, where you've got to have him.
Yeah,
it's, you know.
And to be fair, Ubisoft have balanced him now. He's a good balanced operator. He's got pros and cons, whereas when he was God mode, it was totally unbalanced. He was totally unfair. Yeah. I mean, the amount of videos you used to watch of him shooting people above him, through floors, through ceilings, through walls, it was just ridiculous. but I like him, and I'll probably give him. Well, my average is always between a 6 and a 7, so for me, he'll probably sit around that mark.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a bit more useful than Smoke. He's an average, so I'd probably give him a 5.5 to 6. Personally.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean that kind of that fits, I think. Okay, the Doctor.
Doc.
Probably my most used defender. If used correctly, he's almost a mute level to me in terms of, okay, you don't have to have a Doc, depending on what kind of tactics you're using. But he can make, so many times he's made the difference, I think, between completing a round and not completing a round. I think he's right up there. Personally, I'm not going to give any operator a 10 because I don't think there is a 10.
No, they've all got their drawbacks.
Yeah, they've got their drawbacks. But I love the fact, okay, they took away his shield, which was irritating, but he has got barbed wire, which I like barbed wire. His gun is not the most powerful in the world, the MP5, but it's fine, it's good, it does its job. Especially on the burst, it's pretty decent. For me, he's a 9. He's right up there with one of the most important defenders, I think.
Yeah, he's important. I don't think he's the most important. I'd probably go for a 7.5 to an 8, because once you go past that MP5, don't think much of the P9. The LFP 586 is good, but you know it is the reloading time, and then he's got barbed wire, but again he's got that god awful camera. So you know, for me, 7.5 probably to an 8.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think that's kind of fair. Rook.
I like
once
Rook.
Again, yeah, I like Rook. He's got to be used by people in the right way. I mean, how many times have we played a game and you've got to round 3 and realised whoever was playing Rook hasn't put the plates down, and we're all down to low health, and you're going, well, that's okay. I could have used that earlier. But that's not Rook's fault. That's the player's fault.
Yeah.
But
no,
yeah,
I like Rook.
we've all
Again,
done it.
I think he's not an absolute must-have. He's got some decent weapons. The MP5 again, which is pretty good. I don't particularly like the P90, and I don't like the shotgun, but you know, again, his handguns are the same as Doc. They're not great, but he's got a shield. With the MP5, I'd probably give him an 8.
I'm literally, you've just said everything I was going to say. I would give him an 8. I think he's a really good operator, and he is definitely an above average operator as well. Definitely. Yeah. Very useful. So yeah, 8, cool. Now here is probably other than Doc.
Certainly to start with.
Yeah, oh my god, to start with, it was like every round I used this guy. I think the reason why I don't use him as much anymore is the fact that you don't get the guaranteed kills with his gadget anymore.
And he ain't got barbed wire, he hasn't got a shield. He's got decent guns, you know.
Oh, he's got some nice guns.
Him and Tachanka have got pretty much the same guns. They've got some good guns, but they're not great. His gadget, well, you know, it's good, but I think they've changed that a little bit too much.
I preferred it when it killed rather than injured. I know they've given him more of them, but when it killed, he could be so useful. You know, I used to like saving them all for the last round, stick them all out, and you're almost guaranteed 3 kills without firing a shot. Now, what is okay? You're going to injure someone, occasionally kill someone if you're lucky. Just not. It's almost his gadget's there now to let you know where someone's coming from rather than to kill that person. You know, which we've already got lots of those, and we'll get to some of them in a minute. I still like him. I still do really like him, and I'll probably give him a 7.
Yeah, I think the 7's a fair rating.
Okay, the big guy, the Lord
Big
Almighty.
do like
Tachanka.
Big T. I know he gets a big kind of thumbs down from people because of his gadget being, you know, stuck in one place and not mobile and all the rest of it. But I think that if you can get him in the right place, he can be invaluable. You know,
But
that gun of his is just fantastic.
yeah, and on terrorist hunt, to be fair, if you can get it in the right position, and you've got the right cover around you, it can be fantastic. Like you said, if you play with a mute and you've got the walls covered and you know they're not going to be exploded, you can use him as an anchor. If you've got, say, 2 doorways to worry about, you effectively can stick Tachanka on one door, put a shield up, which he also comes with, which is awesome. And you can literally leave him on his own. You know, you could literally use him as an anchor while everyone worries about somewhere else. So I rate him highly. For terrorist hunt, I rate him. Okay, people might hate him online, and that's absolutely fine. And I get why. It makes perfect sense. Headshot is king. And so, but for terrorist hunt, he's an 8 or a 9 for me.
Oh, I would definitely put him at an 8.5 easily, if not a 9.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think in and around that marking, he's really, really useful.
Yeah.
Okay,
definitely.
so next up is Jaeger. Probably Jaeger and, well, we'll do Bandit next, but these two are two that I use in the last 2 years. I've used a lot. They've probably been 2 of my main anchor guys on defense. Jaeger for me as the best rifle on defense. For me, the 416C carbine is the absolute nuts. I think it is such a good weapon. I think it's a better weapon than a lot of attackers have got.
It's a great weapon.
It's great. Sometimes I'd pick Jaeger. Even Jaeger's importance depends on the settings. As if you play, if you're someone who plays terrorist hunt on the normal mode, when the terrorists don't tend to throw grenades at you, they only really use smoke grenades, which obviously his gadget will still stop. You could go, well, what's the point of picking him then if they're not going to throw grenades? Well, I used to pick him anyway, simply because his gun is so good. As you go up onto hard and definitely realistic, as we experienced the other night, with grenades being thrown around left, right, and centre, you know, on realistic, he can be a vital component if you want to complete a realistic, and it's not easy. He's one of the picks that you have to consider. For his gadget and for his gun, I rate him highly, and for me, I'd probably give him. He's got to be at least an 8 for me, and he's got barbed wire.
He's got barbed wire and a shield. I think 7 to an 8 is a fair rating, because once you get on realistic, he's knocking on the door of being a required. I think the lower levels than realistic, he's not so required and probably isn't quite so important. So
yeah,
I'd kind of probably go more towards a 7 than an 8, but yeah, possibly an 8. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, we have 2 more to go before we finish part 1. So Bandit, one of my personal favourites. Some people hate the MP7. When I first started to use him, I didn't like it. I moved away from him pretty quick. Didn't touch him for a long time. Then when I went back to him and kind of mastered the MP7, I now love the MP7. But you definitely have to play quite a few games, I think, to kind of get the hang of it.
Otherwise you just find yourself reloading all the time.
Yeah, and the recoil. Once you've mastered the recoil and that, it's a great little weapon. His biggest issue at the moment is probably Kayed. Before Kayed, Bandit for me was an almost must pick, because you wanted him to put the batteries down on the barbed wire to slow people down, or on certain walls. they were great. He was brilliant for slowing people down. But as we've discovered recently, since Kayed comes out, you could argue that Kayed does a better job of it. I do believe that Bandit is someone that will get a minor buff in some way. Maybe give him an extra gadget. I don't know. They might. I think they'll do something with him to keep him relevant. Not that he's unrelevant. In the recent statistics, he's still highly picked.
But he's going to be, because Kayed hasn't been out that often, and as you say, Kayed has kind of taken away from him, I think. Whereas he was up there around about an 8, I think he's probably now dropped down to like a 7, purely because, if you put the batteries in the wrong place with Mute, you destroy Mute's gadget, so you've got to be careful with that kind of thing. But also Kayed's is more useful.
And Kayed's you can hide so much better than Bandits.
Yeah.
Bandits get destroyed really easily.
And you can do hatches.
Yes, that's the thing with Kayed. It's huge. So I agree. I'd agree what you said. He was an 8. He's probably a 7 at the moment. I still like him.
He's still good.
I think that's about a fair assessment of where he is right now. Okay, so the last one for this part 1 video. I love Frost. I think the 9mm C1 is one of my top 3 guns in the game. I love it, and I used to hate it. I hated Frost. I couldn't stand her. She was one of my least favourites to my most favourites. She's got barbed wire to slow people down. I still love using the traps. The amount of times I've put a trap underneath a trap door and just heard the bomber die instantly. That's always, you never get over that. It's so satisfying. And I recommend anyone who doesn't use Frost to give her a go with this gun, because for me the recoil on this gun is just barely exists. There's hardly any recoil on this gun. It's so accurate.
It's good. It's good. I think that a gadget, again, it's useful if it's put in the right place, and that's very much dependent on the level that you're doing. And she's got that god awful camera, but that's balanced out by the fact that she's got barbed wire. For me, again, she's a bit of a secondary. She's probably down at a 6.
See, for me, obviously going on personal, I tend to feel like I've got more power when I'm using her. I would put her up as an 8, just simply because I think I like the gadget. It can be so useful. I really like her gun. I love the fact she's got barbed wire. But we all play people slightly differently. In terms of usefulness, I can understand that she should be, I think maybe in and around a 7. But my own personal bias, so this doesn't really count, but my own personal bias, I'll put her at an 8. There you go.
Mine would be a little bit lower, but
yeah, then that's absolutely fine. So that is the end of part 1, and we'll be back shortly with part 2. So from me and St. Nicholas, we'll see you soon.